and stay asleep longer. So you wake up refreshed, not groggy. Until you know how Ambien will affect you, you shouldn't drive or operate machinery. Side effects may include drowsiness, dizziness, and diarrhea. You shouldn't take it with alcohol. All people taking sleep medicines have some risk of becoming dependent on the medicine. Prescription sleep aids are most often taken for 7 to 10 days as needed, or longer as advised by your doctor. Memory problems can usually be avoided by taking Ambien only when you can devote 7 to 8 hours to sleep. Talk to your doctor about Ambien. Ambien works like a dream.
9 a.m. I trust everyone's had their morning fiber. Hey, that doesn't look very fiberful.
I'll trade you some great tasting fiber for your chopper. Just kidding.
My advice, never eat fiber bigger than your head. This is what you want, my friend. Kellogg's Frosted Mini Wheats. Sweet, crunchy, just the way you like it. And one serving, almost 25% of the fiber you need in a day.
So, what do you think?
Fiber.
Fiber.
Fiber. Give me high fiber. Hi. Hey.
Joining us now is the senior United States Senator from the state of Delaware, Joseph Biden, the ranking Democrat on the Senate Foreign Relations Committee and a foreign policy advisor to the Kerry campaign. Senator Biden is in Denver, where he watched the Bush-Kerry joint appearance on television. Senator, thanks for being with us. In brief...
Happy to be with you, Dan.
In brief, Senator Kerry's best moment, strongest point, particularly keeping in mind that critical to him is getting independent and swing voters going his way, and most especially women.
Most critical point is turning out how the world is less safe because of the vacillation of the president and his policy on Korea, the president's vacillation not being able to choose between Rumsfeld and Powell in terms of how to deal with Iran, and quite frankly, he appeared uncertain and somewhat nervous. For example, he talked about China would pull out of the talks. China has asked the president to have bilateral talks. China has asked the president to have bilateral talks. So I think he got himself a little, I think Kerry was very strong in letting people know how strong he was.
And at what moment do you think President Bush delivered his strongest point?
I think the thing that came through, and I agree with John McCain, is I think has been painful for the president. I think he does bleed internally for those losses of life in anywhere in the world, Afghanistan and Iraq. And I thought he was classy the way in which he responded about the character question. So I was proud of President Bush on both those points.
Would you argue that at this point in the campaign, certainly on a national basis, President Bush leads John Kerry?
I would argue that. I think it's just flat toss-up within the margin of error nationally. And I think John Kerry broke through in a fundamental way tonight. There's no question in my mind, based on the polling data, that on the domestic issues, there is an overwhelming advantage that Kerry has. And tonight, John Kerry showed his mastery of the world. He showed his resolve. He showed the differences. And I think that this will be marked as the breakthrough, the moment when John Kerry turned this campaign around and enabled himself to become president.
And did you see or hear President Bush made anything close to what you would consider to be a major mistake tonight?
Well, yeah, I think President Bush's consistent refrain about the flipping and flopping and not responding to the fact that he, in fact, has had, he's been an uncertain trumpet with regard to Korea, with regard to Iran, with regard to Iraq, his failure to be able to answer the question of why did you not plan, his acknowledgement in effect that his failure to acknowledge what he meant when he said miscalculations. The miscalculations are obvious, and I think he would have served himself better if he acknowledged them to let people know he's ready to move on from those mistakes to make them better. I think that was his biggest mistake.
Senator Biden, there was a general consensus, I think, before this debate that Senator Kerry needed something of a breakthrough, if not a home run ball, something very, very strong. Would you argue if someone said pretty much a draw, pretty much even tonight?
I don't think that's even close. I think the polling data will show that tomorrow. And by the way, I think just as if John had done poorly, you'd have a lot of sad Democrats here in Denver, and they'd say he won, but in their heart they'd feel sad. They're not sad at all tonight, but I predict to you there are an awful lot of Republican Bush supporters who aren't feeling real good right now.
Senator Joseph Biden of Delaware, thanks for being with us. Now, how did the Bush-Kerry face-off tonight play with uncommitted voters? CBS News asked some of them, and we'll give you their answer when our CBS special coverage continues just after this.
Cholesterol. It comes grilled, fried, slow cooked,